Are you ready? Stand by. If you are finished, I see clear, hammer down, and holster.
Are you ready? Stand by. Clear. If clear, hammer down and hold. Range is clear.
Shooter ready. Stand by. Shooter ready. Stand by. Finish unload, so clear. I see clear. Hammer down. Holster. Range is clear.
Are you ready? Stand by. If you are finished, unload and show clear. If clear, hammer down and holster.
Shooter ready. Stand by. I see clear. Hammer down. Holster.
Are you ready? Stand by. If you are finished, unload and show clear. If clear, hammer down and hold. Are you ready? Stand by. If you're finished, unload, show clear. If clear, hammer down and holster.
When we shot all these earlier, I think I liked the return to zero the most on this one. Obviously without a light though. This is the Glock 47, which I don't even think you can see on camera because it's so fucking dark out here.
What do you mean by return to zero?
Well, return to zero just means like if I have a really good grip, if I basically have a perfect grip, perfect mechanical operation of the gun, and I send a round, like the gun's gonna reciprocate because there's an explosion going off, but if my grip is perfect, the dot will come back right to the point where I left it. Does that make sense? Did I explain that right?
Yeah, I think some people use return to zero as a little bit more of a technical term, meaning like when you take your dot off or optic off or change your battery or whatever, if the dot stays zeroed in the same spot. I think when I've heard people talk about it, like Ben Stoger, your dad, I think he says just returning the dot, like having that dot come right back down to where it left.
That's return to zero.
The shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think it's return to zero.
No, okay.
I think you're wrong.
I started.
I think you're wrong.
Shut up. I don't know why I invited you anyway. I started hearing all that stuff, all the return to zero stuff. Yeah, you did invite me. I started hearing all the return to zero stuff when I started like looking at the Atlas guns on their website. That's where this all comes from.
Oh, really?
Is like the Atlas guns are supposed to have a perfect return to zero. So when you have perfect grip, you send around, the gun reciprocates, and it just comes right back to where it was. Like that's Atlas's whole thing. You should go. You should do more research.
I never shot an Atlas before in my life.
Neither have I. I watch videos on it, like a poor person does. But that's the idea. And with this, I don't know. Like it was just really good. I don't know what it was. It had pretty similar return to zero than my Glock 34, but my Glock 34 has a bunch of stuff done to it, and this doesn't. And like I said, I was shooting without a light.
Well,
so
I think it's called being less of a wiener, and
mine too.
the best caliber is clearly 10 millimeter, but it just kicks too much to be practical in like a concealed carry or a competition gun. So then I went back to M&Ps and Glocks, and if you think the Glock kicks too much to manage the recoil, you're pretty much just being a wiener, and you need to stop.
Who says that? Does anybody say that Glocks are too much recoil?
Being a wiener? Oh, I don't think people say that. I think some people say they're too snappy.
Yeah, but like I think people that think
I don't think that's true.
well, no, like the gun, like if my Glock 45 is snappy, but like I said, if you have a good grip, that just means it returns faster. Whereas with my my SIG, it's not snappy and it does not return well, and it just feels slow and it like knocks your aim off.
Yeah.
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 I'd rather my gun be super snappy.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Like I said, because it returns faster. You can shoot faster.
I'd rather my gun be predictable. I know exactly.
Sure.
I know exactly how much force and how stiffly I have to hold it for it to go right back where I want it. I don't really care if it's a lot of recoil, a little bit of recoil.
I bought this because I went in the gun store and like I don't know, I just wanted a cool gun, and I picked this up and I felt the slide. You felt how smooth that is, right? You can air rack these. The guys at the GBRS group are always air racking these, and they look super cool. And the trigger felt like it would probably be better than a Glock, but I've come to the realization that how smooth the slide feels, because it feels like a 2011, has nothing to do with how good you're going to be at shooting it. You felt this, right?
No.
Okay. But my point was, the slide is much bigger and heavier. It is smoother, yes, but the way it returns, it is super unpredictable to where it's going to come back to. So that's why I went back to my Glock.
You think it's your grip angle?
Dude, funny enough, people complain about the Glock grip angle all the time, and I actually really like it. I feel like I have so much leverage over this thing because it's angled down and my wrists are locked out, and I don't feel that way with this. I feel like I'm holding a stick upright. I feel like I'm holding it like this, and I have no leverage over it.
You see arm wrestlers, when they go to arm wrestle someone, the good ones, they'll get their wrist and kind of cock it like this a little bit because they have that leverage.
Oh, that might be too much. But...
I mean,
how are you so much stronger than I am?
It's all about leverage, bro. Anyway, guys, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I don't really like guns. I normally talk about trains. Just the different kinds, different types of trains.